COCO ERICKSON. I'm a senior. Japanese anime is a form of animation. It was originally from the Disney animation from the US, like Astro Boy was the first anime, and since then it's taken on a very distinct style. It's very different from American cartoons. A fandom is the community of people who enjoy a certain TV show or a certain book. It doesn't just have to be anime, but anime often has fandoms. Some animes have very big fandoms. There are things like fan art, where artists draw characters from that show or that book. Sometimes it's even better than the original drawings. In fact, a lot of the time it's a lot better. You can see all these the characters in all these different styles as well. There's also things like AMVs where you take clips from the shows and mix them together with music to create these really interesting compositions and music videos. A convention is a gathering of people. Usually you have to pay to get in, but depending on what kind of convention, there are anime conventions and there are comic conventions like Marvel and Superman. You can attend special events there, but really one of the biggest things about it is the cosplay. Cosplay is dressing up like a character from a show or a book or even a video game and just walking around and acting like that character. You aren't just attending a con, you are part of the convention. There are a lot of stereotypes for anime and manga, both in Japan and in America. In America, I've heard some widely differing stereotypes. One is that for those people see them as cartoons and their automatic reaction is, oh, cartoons are for children. And that's not true, because that's like saying TV is for children, and the fact that there are so many genres of anime. There is horror, there is children's anime like My Neighbor Totoro by Hayao Miyazaki, but there are also things like Princess Mononoke, which is by the same director and very much not for children. The fandom I am most in right now is Homestuck, which is not exactly an anime, it is a webcomic. To explain Homestuck is somewhat like being asked to explain everything in the universe, except in the case of Homestuck, there are two universes. The basic premise is the idea of a game that basically allows you to play Sims with the world, and to top it off, the world is ending while people play this game. And while that seems like the biggest dilemma, as it turns out, there is a much bigger dilemma that appears, and then a much bigger dilemma that appears, and there are so many layers that since basically Act 3, everything has been going to hell repeatedly. And it's still going to hell. I have grown up with anime and its culture since I was very little. As a kid, I watched Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro, and of course Pokemon. I loved Pokemon. It wasn't really until 8th grade when I got into Hetalia that I realized just how much it was part of my life. It had always been there, but I became suddenly aware of how uniquely it was part of me. Now I really can't imagine myself at all without anime and fandom culture.